Hey y'all. Hey y'all. What's going on, everybody? So we're not gonna be up here too long, but we're gonna be up here. And we're gonna do some talking. Y'all, I just popped my ear. I'm so mad at that. Like, you know how you pop your ear and then everything sound hollow? That's what I'm dealing with right now. And I'm just aggravated about it. Hey, Faith! What is going on? Hey, y'all. As y'all come in, please like the video on your way in. Please go ahead and like the video. Please go ahead and subscribe. Drop me some yellow hearts. Let me know that you are here. How is everything going? Yeah, you know how you pop your ear and it's like you can't get it to go away and everything sound weird in one ear? Oh, God. um, so I was gonna be on camera, but I end up on a conference call for too long, and I didn't get a chance to do my little makeup or whatnot. But I'm here nevertheless. Okay, so we are going to get into Tia Mowry and her husband divorcing after 15 years of marriage. Now, you guys, I, I'm not. How do I put this? I'm never surprised when people get divorced, but I'm surprised when people get divorced. And I always think, and I think to myself, like, dag, like how you be married to someone for 15 years, right? And then like just get a divorce. Like how you be married to someone for like, people be married for 20 years and then just get a divorce. And I turned around to my husband and I said, do you think we're gonna get a divorce? Because now it's like one of the things where it's like, is that like the new thing to just get a divorce? And I don't know what the ins and outs of their relationship is, but there is like a lot of rumors circulating about him probably cheating and things like that. So I just be thinking to myself, like, you never know when you get married that you could just one day be divorced out of nowhere. And it's like 15 years, you threw away 15 years, like there was no fight to have left. You finally threw in a towel. Like, that just makes me so scared. It makes me nervous about the future. It just makes me think that like anything can happen. I could do something where my husband decides he wants to divorce me. He could do something that makes me decide I want to divorce him in a blink of an eye. And next thing you know, marriage over just like that. Hey to Ellie's, hey Jay. Can't be out of nowhere. I know it can't be out of nowhere, but I'm just saying, like, it's nerve-wracking, right? Because that's a long time to be invested in someone, to really be married to someone. And then next thing you know, for us, it's out of nowhere. Of course, they probably been working, towards their um marriage and things like that. But it's just scary. And I've really been sitting here thinking about it like it could be good because you got to think about it, right? When you be married, you're literally like in the best, I'm not going to say the best moments of your life, but you have so many moments where everything is great. Like, even if it wasn't even if it wasn't 5 years ago, but like let's say 5 years ago in their marriage, they probably were really happy. Like things were just going really great. And then like bam, something happened. And it's like over. You know, like some people be like, I'm not dealing with cheating in my marriage, right? So you get married and you be married for 15 years and then he cheats, bam, divorce. Like you don't see that coming, you know what I mean? But you also won't tolerate it. So you got to do what you got to do. That's why I'm like, it's just so many different things. And so like, it's nerve wracking. It's nerve wracking because it could never, you be like, it can't be me, but it can always be you. It can always be you. That's the scary part about it. Like you never know. It's so uncertain. Like you can have some of the best days of your life and everything, and then things just go boom. It's over. But let's get into some of eight. I'm 8 years into mine. Things are tough, but you make it work. Right. But you ever get to that? You ever think that like 8 years, they got 15 years. So add a couple more years. Like, I'm nervous. I'm scared. Like I've been with my husband for what? 11 years, I think we've been together, married for going on 4. Like, child. Woo. Like, I don't want to be that one sitting up here talking to y'all. Like, let me tell y'all what's going on. Like, it be happening like that. Child, it be happening like that. And I can't take it. I can't take it to thought. I can't take it. Like, it just seemed like too much. Okay. But let's get into some things. So, when Tia announced that she was getting divorce, she wrote on Instagram, she said that I have always been honest with my fans, and today is no different. I wanted to share that Cory and I have decided to go our separate ways. These decisions are never easy and not without sadness. We will maintain a friendship as well as we co-parent our beautiful children. I am grateful for all the happy times we had together and want to thank my family, friends, and fans for the love and support as we start this new chapter moving forward in our lives. Okay. Um, Yeah, I mean, I know you're not supposed to compare to them, but you just never know. It's her, it's too much. It's too much. When I see people get divorced, I be all in my feelings. Okay, so Tia then went on her Instagram story and she wrote, letting go could be painful, but it won't hurt as much as holding on to an illusion. All right. And so then Cory wrote, acting off emotion will cost you every time. So the first time I saw this Instagram story from him, I was thinking, was he talking about her acting off emotion, like filing for the divorce? Like, will it cost her? Or was he talking about something that he did while acting off emotion that actually cost him? You know what I mean? Yeah. But the first time I thought about it, the first time I saw it, I thought it was about, like, him thinking like, you acting off emotion, it's gonna cost you every time. Like, don't do this. And then once I looked into it a little bit more, I said, oh no, he's talking about himself. What did he do? Okay. Um, but I want to know what he did. I know, I know it's like, girl, you nosy, but I can't help it because I want to know what broke this marriage apart. And not because I want to be nosy, I do want to be nosy, and not because I want to bask in it. I just want to know, like, what causes people to get divorced after 15 years of being married to someone. Now, people like to talk about their past and how the marriage was, how they met each other and how he was at the bus stop and she pulled up on him, and she was already acting and she was a big deal, and she had her things together, and it was like struggle love. And I'm like, I don't think it was really struggle love because she wasn't struggling. You know what I mean? Okay. Cory say he is a lot and Tia has put up with him as he is. Oh, wow. See, that's what I mean. Like, did Tia literally wake up one day and just was like, looked at him and was like, I don't want to do this no more? Because that happened. It be sometimes like people really be sticking by a person for a really long time. They put up with so much. They deal with everything. And then finally, when things get good, remember we talked about this one time where a man could be cheating on a woman. Let's just say he cheated on her for years, years, years. She taking back everything. And then he finally become this perfect man, the man that she always wanted. He's no longer cheating. He's being loyal. He's being committed. He's being romantic. He's being all these men that she been wanting for the longest, and now she look at him and don't want him. That's how it happens. Like, you just wake up one day and be like, nah, I'm not. I really don't want to deal with this no more. So you think it could have been something like that? Like, maybe she was just going through one of those times where it was just like, I looked up and I don't want him. You can have him. You can have him. It could be that their lives are going in separate directions and they couldn't make it work anymore. But that's what I'm saying too. At least that's why I get nervous. That's why I get nervous because, like, you know how that people are in your life for different reasons and different seasons, right? Because you just imagine, like, after 15 years, 20 years, you just be like, nah, your season's up. Like, I don't want that. Like, I can't handle that. And I'm not saying that happens in all cases, but it's like a new trend now where marriages are just ending literally out of nowhere to us, I should say. Not nowhere, but nowhere to us. Okay. So, but she's been through a lot to have kids too. And that's another thing, right? You sit there, you have kids with someone, and then in some instance you actually plan these pregnancies and you actually, you do all this stuff to have these babies and get together, and the next thing you know, bam, divorce. Now you got two kids, and that's baggage, right? And then if another man gonna want you with these two kids by another man, like, these are all the things that you think about. And I'm just like, wow, that's a long time. It's actually sad. And it makes me really sit here and think, like, you never know, it could be you. You say yes, another man will want. Oh well, we know another man gonna want her. Okay. But they pulled up this clip, and in this clip, I'm about to show y'all. Basically, Tia was talking to a lady on a red carpet, and she was just saying that she found her self worth. So this is why I think a lot of people are hitting at the fact that he probably was cheating on her and doing, a lot of like wrong things. But something about, and I'm gonna tell y'all how I'm looking at this message of what he wrote. He said, acting off emotion will cost you every time. It's the emotion word, right? That bothers me about this statement, because it feels like it has to be something bigger than cheating, right? Because cheating is not like the word. When you're cheating, if you get caught cheating and your wife leaves you, or vice versa, whatever, you don't usually say emotion, right? You say, making horrible decisions, or not using my brain, being dumb, being stupid. You use these words. But when he said acting off emotion will cost you every time, that's why I took it different the first time I read it. But now when I read it again and I know that he's talking about himself, the emotion word is the word that kind of trips me up a little bit, because it starts to make me think about, what did he do in that emotion that cost him? And what was this emotion that he was feeling? Girl, you better not even put that out in the atmosphere, because we don't need that for our Tia. Mm-mm. Oh no, we don't need that for our Tia. They met when they were young. They grew into two different people. And that's why I say it's nerve-wracking, right? Because y'all know, like I tell y'all all the time, I met my husband when I was 22. That's why it's scary. And I look at him and I ask him, and he like, girl, whatever. That's why you can't be watching. He be like, you need to stay off of TV and stop looking at the vlogs. So it just makes you think, like, it makes me nervous, because you never know, like, it could just be you one day, right? I ain't gonna say me, I ain't gonna put that on myself, Lord. Okay. But that could be anybody in one day, exactly. And you don't feel like you're a different woman now. I do feel like I'm a different woman. That's the thing, though. I don't know. We'll talk about it a little bit more as we go through this. Okay. So let's go into this clip. Oh, child, let me
Very. I mean,
let me start it over.
Can I? So many people have told me that. I was just in New York this past weekend. 2 people told me in New York that I was glowing.
What's the difference? What is it?
You know what it is? It's self-love.
Okay.
I'm really, really just focusing on setting boundaries.
And they're hard to do sometimes.
Very. I mean, I'm in my 40s and I'm just now learning. 40 where, but continue. All of you ladies out there, no matter how old you are, start now. It's really giving me peace, joy. Yeah, so I would say that.
So this was a couple of weeks before she announced that she was getting divorced, right? So wait, hold on one second, y'all. Learning it. You said it's clear he thinks T emotions are not valid in her decision. So you read it how I read it the first time you saw it? See, that's how I read it the first time I saw it too. I felt like the first time when I first saw it, I honestly, God, I felt like he was saying she working off emotion, she gonna lose her family because she feeling some type of way. That's what I got from it the first time. But now that I'm looking at it a different way. But I mean, we don't really know which way he meant it, right? Mm-hmm. So, I remember when they appeared on Black Love, talking about how they got together, and Tia was saying how they didn't conform to traditional marriage rules. Well, that's. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's obvious, but I will tell you what I picked up. But hold on, let me go into this clip real quick. So, when she says that she's setting boundaries, something clearly happened. I don't think this was we're growing apart. It can't be. Because the way that she kind of like put the words together, just like how he put his words together, this isn't we just grew apart, we just went our separate ways. This is something happened to cause us, or something happened to cause her to get a divorce. Because she filed for the divorce, not him. Also, that's very important to make sure who to pay attention to who filed for the actual divorce. Which reminds me, Miguel's wife is out here filing for divorce from him again. Like, girl, is you gonna stay with him or not? Because we don't need this back and forth of it all, okay? Like, she tried to divorce him before, now she want to do it again. Like, girl, this not your time to shine. We talking about Tia, okay? Take your divorce and go ahead, okay? But anyway, back to Tia. She got tired of his controlling nature at the end. I will say this. When I will watch Tia, even when they had their reality show, remember Tia and Tamara had a reality show? We never really saw Cory. Y'all ever thought about the fact that when we watched that reality show, I don't know if y'all watched it. I don't know, if I'm telling my age or not, but Tia and Tamara used to have a reality show. And on this reality show, we really never really get to see Cory. But when we always saw Cory, it always felt like Cory was detached from Tia. I didn't really see too much affection. I didn't really see too much love. I didn't really see too much, that type of thing. So I always felt like he didn't really see it for her the way she saw for him. Now, I could be reaching, okay? And I could just be reaching, but from my memory of how I feel right now, and how I feel about it, about my emotions, about how I felt about the show, I felt like he wasn't in love with Tia then. And I always had this inkling gut feeling, and I know it feels wrong to have an inkling gut feeling about somebody else's husband, child, but I had this inkling gut feeling that he was out here doing something. And I only felt that way because I felt like we never saw him. And I'm sitting here like, oh, he working on a movie. Where's the movie? Oh, he working on this. Where's this? What is he doing that this man is never really around? Right. They both said they weren't super affectionate. Well, so let's not confuse being affectionate with being in love, right? You could not be affectionate and the love can still show. I just didn't get any of that from him with her. Right, Alyssa, when you grow apart, you try to grow back together. That's what marriage is. But this is why I don't think that this is because they grew apart. So, because if you listen to the words,
New York this past weekend, 2 people told me in New York that I was glowing.
What's the difference? What is it?
You know what it is? It's self-love.
Okay.
I'm really just focusing on setting boundaries.
See, she's focusing on setting boundaries. That means that whatever I allowed from you in the past, I am no longer allowing in this new version of me. Whatever I put up with from you in the past, I am no longer putting up with this new version of me. And I think that when she said self-love, that's when you really come up out of it. And I really think that having kids and being married to someone so long and being in a publicized relationship really makes you sit there and think about, every step that you take before you take it. I don't think that she ever I honestly think that she really had to really go through it and be through it and be done before she make this announcement. This isn't one of those impulsive things. So when I first saw, that's why when I saw him put that message up that said, acting off emotions will cost you every time, even if he meant that the way I read it the first time, I don't think this is emotions. Just based off of how she put it.
And they're hard to do sometimes.
About, setting those boundaries, self-love, self-care, like this new version. I got to introduce you to the new version of me. And you don't fit in that picture. For her, she did find him on the bus stop. I can see them resenting each other for different reasons. But what does that have to do with being let's think about this. I know people say, oh, yeah, he was at the bus stop. He didn't, when she met him, this, that, and the other. Let's not act like this man wasn't, making some type of money, okay? He probably wasn't as popping as she was back then, but we seen him in a little bit of movies. We seen him in some of them little, BET movies and whatnot, in the Black Channel, all that stuff. We seen him on the, little things, and that's okay. Maybe he just wasn't making as much as she was. But we're not going to make it seem like he wasn't providing anything. Because Tia also wasn't working long, like in, she had moments where she wasn't working too, right? Like when she left the game and things like that. So I mean, they had to be, doing okay. And I'm sure they have a good prenup in place. I'm sure it's not like, he about to, she take her for everything. I doubt that. But you got to also remember when you're young, they were in college, right? How normal is it to meet somebody at the bus stop when you're in college? That's not like, it's like saying in high school, I met him in school. Like this is where you meet people in college. Sometimes you don't have cars in college and things like that. So this wasn't like he was a grown bum man at the bus stop. You know what I mean? It was a college student, finding his footing. So we can't really put that pressure on this in this situation, because it's not like she was Tia, like 40-year-old Tia right now, and she was going to a set and she saw the man at the bus stop and was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give him a shot. You know what I mean? That's not what happened. We talking about kids in college. You graduate college before you turn like 23 or something like that, if you go straight into it. So this is normal around that age, okay? And their parents did not want them to be in the social life. They kept them grounded so they were not around many young celebrities. Exactly. So it's not far-fetched for her to go find her a normal dude. You know what I mean? Normal dudes matter, y'all. Normal dudes matter. Right, Alyssa, this is what I'm saying. This is why when y'all say they grew apart and stuff like that, I be like, nah, something happened. Because for her to say that she set these boundaries, she found self-care. For her to say that she is letting go can be painful, but it won't hurt as much as holding on to an illusion. Now let's get into this part. You ever heard that saying where they say that some married women would rather be married and miserable just to say that they married? I think that's what the illusion is. Some people be in really unhappy marriages. Have you ever heard of that single mom, that single wife, or single mom while being married, or stuff like that? You ever heard of those terms where women be in relationships with men and they're really not happy? They're not being fulfilled. They don't really feel like they have a partnership. Sometimes maybe all the man do is pay the bills, but he's not emotionally available to her or the kids. He doesn't help around the house and this, that, and the other. He feels like he don't have to do nothing more, this, that, and the other. And for some women cherish that word of marriage, that word of husband, more so than their own self-love and their self-care. So I'd rather say, I'd rather be married than to get a divorce. I'd rather be unhappily married than to say I'm getting divorced. I'd rather say I have a husband and be miserable than to say I'm getting divorced. So these are also things that are real. So when she say letting go can be painful, thinking about all the backlash, not even backlash, but just thinking about all the responses of how, like, even me, like right now, I just made a video about it. There's so many people, as soon as she announced it, all the blogs, everybody get up there and they make all these, videos and stuff about it, and they're talking about it. Could you imagine how when she thought about announcing and getting divorced, how she knew from that moment on everything was going to go haywire, right? So this is why I say this is definitely this for her is real. This for her, whatever he did literally had to be worth it, because this wasn't no one-time situation, whatever happened. Because one-time things, okay, in 15 years, people tend to, be upset for a while, have to heal from it, go to counseling and deal with it, right? But for her to say women get caught, thanks for the super chat. Women get caught up in their role, wife, mother. Hold on, let me put it up there. In their role, wife, mother, both putting their spouses and kids in front of them. Tia discovered herself and maybe things change. That could be true. She discovered herself and things changed. Well, she did say self-care. But when she got to that boundary word, the boundary word, that's what I'm saying. There's little things that people say that always help me put things in perspective. And so when she really went and she said it, like,
I mean, I'm in my 40s and I'm just now learning. 40 where, but continue. All of you ladies out there, no matter how old you are, start now. It's really given me peace, joy. Yeah, so I would say that. You know what it is? It's self-love.
Okay.
I'm really just focusing on setting boundaries.
And they're hard to do sometimes.
Very. I mean, I'm in my 40s.
And I'm not going to say that the self-boundaries was just about him. The self-boundaries could be about with people in general. We need to set boundaries with our kids. We need to set boundaries with our husbands. We need to set boundaries with work, family, everything. You set your boundaries so this way you can protect yourself and you can protect your peace, right? So I'm not going to say it was all on her, but when you just hear the word boundaries, that's where my head went. She also seems detached. He always seemed detached. That's what I'm saying. When I watched that reality show, he always seemed like he just was not available to her. Like something was not hitting right. There's one way, like you've seen marriages or couples where the man is probably not that affectionate or that all that, but you could tell he loves his wife. I ain't never get that feeling from watching that he loved his wife. Okay. Tamara is living her best life. But why we gotta play one? Cut it out. Let's not put one up because the other ones. This is why I'm glad that you said it, right? On Twitter, Tamara was trending because people were talking about the fact how they thought that it should have been Tamara getting divorced from her husband because he's a white man, Trump supporter, all that other stuff that they were saying. Okay, and people were basically like making this about like how it should have been it should have been Tamara. It should have never been Tia. Like, oh, black love, this, that, and other, da. But I really feel like this is why a lot of women rather be miserably married than to get divorced. Because there's a shame that sometimes come with divorce for women. Because the divorce seems like, oh, you failed as a wife, a lot of the times. So that's why I think that we have to take the stigma away from, making divorce. It should be a big thing because, but it should not be a thing where it causes shame to the people. Because I'd rather be divorced and happy than married and miserable. But if you think about how everything played out on Twitter yesterday when I was reading all the comments and people were just like, oh, yeah, it should have been Tamara and not Tia and da. And here we was thinking that Tia had the good marriage. And honestly, it was Tamara. Like, nobody want to hear that. Like, could you imagine how poor Tamara was over there minding her own business? Her sister came out and said she getting divorced. And now all the world is telling me I should have got a divorce. Like, I shouldn't be with my husband. How does get on me? You know what I mean? Getting divorced is embarrassing as well. It's definitely embarrassing. But this is why there's a shame that comes with it. And this is why, like I spoke about earlier, some people rather be miserably married than to get a divorce because there's always something that like sticks with that person, especially when an announcement is made and it seems like you fell. So it's like this, right? So y'all know how I come up here and be like, my husband, right? My husband. And then, God forbid, I ain't even gonna speak it, but something happened. I'm gonna go 50 years from now, child, because we're not about to put no early years on this. We're gonna put 50 years from now, and I come up here and I say, I'm getting a divorce. And then everybody's like, oh yeah, but she was just up here like my husband. And see, that's why people shouldn't be talking about their marriages and this, that, and other. Like, that's how the world works. That's how people make it seem like you rather be miserable than to speak your truth and find your own happiness and peace for the sake of what other people might say. That's how I feel about it. That's why I think that when she really got to this point, she really had to be done. It had to be something that really was like, you know what? This is it. This is over. I am, officially going into my real grown woman stage. I'm 40 years old. I've had my children. I'm ready to live my life. And obviously you wasn't, hitting, getting where you needed to be with me. Both husbands seems to controlling. You know what? Adam never bothered me though. I don't know. A lot of people didn't like him because his whole stance in politics and stuff like that. And that's their preference. But when I would see Adam on the real, or when I saw her getting married to him, he just seemed more like a yes man to me. So I never really paid him that much attention. I barely post my husband on social media either. But because I do a lot of reality TV show talk about marriages and relationships, it comes out often because of that. You know what I mean? Um, but you'll be amazed how people rather be miserably, married than to be happy and divorced. It's okay to be divorced, right? It's okay to find your peace. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to stay a day and work. But we also can't make it where it's okay to be divorced, so you just go ahead and just be marrying people. Because that happens a lot too, where people think marriage is for play, and marriage is for fun, and they just go out, and because they've been in love for a month, they go out and get married, and then they be divorced in a year. Like, it needs to be thought out. It needs to be, actually love. I really think they had to be in love, because you don't be with somebody for 15 years for play or for fake. Okay. So then Tamara came on and she said this.
Heartbreak for her?
I support her.
Yeah.
So, whatever she wants, the Mowrys have her back. I love her dearly. She is strong. But I know right now she just kind of just wants to, just process it all, take it all in, and, be a little private about that.
Yeah.
And, as a sister, I'm just going to respect that.
Oh, your sister just...
So Tamara is basically saying that she's just going to respect her sister's privacy. She's there for her, and she's there to support her. I love how they always stuck together. Like, you could tell Tamara's not blindsided. Y'all know how, like, Lisa, remember when what's that girl name? The brat was getting engaged and Lisa Ray was on the internet going off like, that's crazy. I had to find out through social media that you was getting engaged. I'm glad that these two actually have a real relationship and really be talking and really, trust and confide in each other. Cause you imagine Tamara up there like, well, I found out what y'all found out. So I'd have been like, oh, this is too much. But I am so happy that she is there to support her and, be there with her. And I help her through this. And I love the fact that she didn't overshare. Because, sometimes when people get in the media, that's how you know that they media trained from, like, the real the early 90s and stuff like that, where they was real celebrities and, they go through media training and they really had to be, presentable and well-spoken and stuff. Like, you could just tell that they really got each other, okay? Oh, yeah, she's definitely media trained, right? That's what I'm saying. You could just tell that, and I don't want to go off subject, but this is what I think today's celebrities are really missing. They're missing that media training, or how to be prepared for certain situations and how to present yourself to the world. Now everything is just like, just doing the moves, okay? But I really like how she kept it private, and then go all out about it. Okay, so I am going to invite you guys up here. If you have anything you want to say or anything you want to discuss about this situation or marriages and divorces in general, you're more than welcome to come on up. But yeah, I'll just finish talking about it. But I honestly didn't feel like he was connected to her. And now that I just read it, who wrote that? Samantha said, Cory said in his interview, he had nothing and she had everything when they got together. So let me ask you this. Do you think that when she got with him and he had nothing, and being as though I just said, I felt like he never was really into her the way she was into him, do you guys think that maybe he just saw it as a come up? Saw what he could get from it? Do y'all think that he was cheating? He was out here in Cali struggling in a condo he shared, sleeping in a corner with no furniture for 2 years. He said that himself. Okay, so but was he in college, Samantha, or was he just out here struggling? What's the tea? Give me the backup story, okay? Was he out here just struggling, Or was he out here, in school struggling? Struggling and in school struggling, two totally different things, but on a similar format. So, do y'all think? First question: do y'all think that he got with her because of her status? Yes or no? That's the first question I'm going to ask. I think he was cheating and had another baby. Oh God, we didn't get to the cheating, so no. So y'all say no. Y'all don't think that he got with her because of who she was. No. Okay. So, do y'all think that the cause of this divorce is cheating? And I keep seeing classics say something about a baby. I promise y'all. I promise y'all, I better not, I better not hear any type of allegations or a lady pop up in another week or two claiming that she is pregnant by this man. Because if this is what happened, oh my God. When I tell y'all it's gonna be a whole thing, it's gonna be a whole thing. He said that he never cheated. Why we think everyone cheats? Who said we think everyone cheats? I don't think everyone cheats. I think that normally when things come out in the open, or when we talk about divorce and we talk about relationships breaking up, that question always just has to be asked, because that is a reason for divorce and breakups. So it's not like it's unreason. It's not like you asking her why she happily married. Is your husband cheating on you? It's like the question that you ask when people get divorced. Hey, two Ellie's girls, what's going on?
Hey girl, school was closed, okay? So you might hear some background. My baby is home. Driving me
Mine
crazy.
too. Don't worry about it, girl.
So you feel my pain.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It doesn't give me that they divorced over something so heavy as like cheating. I mean, approaching 40, I'm not too far from 40, but I think at each decade we have a discovery of life. Things that may have been important to you before are not as important. And like I said, she just rediscovered who she was at 40, and having been married for so long and did that very young, life just probably looks really different for her. And she maybe the things that she tolerated from her husband, she didn't want to anymore. Maybe he wasn't as, or probably never, who knows? This is all speculation. Maybe he didn't do the things that he said he was going to do. Maybe she wanted him to grow. Maybe they were supposed to grow, or maybe he just grew opposite. They're both very booked and busy. Well, maybe she more than he, but they're both still growing in their career. Even at 40, they're both still very young. So it's unfortunate that their family has to divide, but with COVID, I hope that everyone knows that life is way too short to be hung up on titles and roles. Like, you have to do what's best for you, and it's probably best for them as well as the children, that both parents be happy and whole. And if that means they have to separate to do that, then the children will most definitely benefit from that. We see it now in our generation where kids may have grown up in a two-parent household, but that household was so contentious, it was abusive at times, that it really didn't benefit them to stay together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus those who maybe the mom or the dad had to leave or decided to leave, and by both of the parents being apart, they were able to work on themselves and then be able to pour back into their children. I know that because I'm going through that myself. And had I just stayed just for the look of it, the title of it all, I probably wouldn't be the person I am today. So I want to say that leaving doesn't always mean that it's going to be the demise of their family or the demise of them. It could strengthen them. And who knows, in 10 years, they can get back together. I mean, just because you divorced the first time doesn't mean you can't get remarried. Look at Nene and Greg.
Good point. Good point. So then, how did you take when he wrote child, what did he write? When he said acting off emotion will cost you every time. So what did you think about that post?
I think this has probably woke Cory up, to be honest, because I'm sure him and Tia probably got into it and gotten on each other's nerves. And Tia probably was like, "I'm not gonna put up with this no more." And he like, yeah, whatever. Like she probably always said that. And Tia was like, baby, I can show you better than I can tell you. And now that maybe something that he may not have been doing, whatever it is, he's now seeing that him maybe being stubborn or maybe being vindictive, whatever it is, has cost him. And it has cost him every time. We all know that. Kendra G knows that now. Her popping off on, even though I don't see it for her, Danny has caused her to do this fake apology and makeup video because she reacted out of emotion. Like, it doesn't have to be just the result of the divorce. I mean, if you're of a certain age, then you know that anytime that you just go off the hook, there's a consequence to it.
Right.
For Cory, this may be his consequence, and hopefully he'll realize that he can't just be, staunch in his ways or stubborn or selfish. Like, we never know. Never know what it is. I don't think it was towards her, though. I will say that.
So you didn't read it how I read it the first time?
No, probably because I didn't know that they were divorced. I kind of found out through YouTube.
Oh, wow.
That they got divorced, and I was like, oh man. But when I started to see the timeline, because I think at that same time he had posted something before that, she had commented, and it was a positive comment on his post. So yeah, I don't think it was about her. I think it was more about him.
Maybe he didn't grow up fast enough for her. That could always be it too. They say it take men longer to grow up. Is she older than him?
I think he's maybe like they're in the same age group, but he might be 2 years older than her, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I always felt, and that's crazy. You want to know something? I was just watching a reel on, I think it was Facebook, and Tia was making something in her kitchen for her kids. She was cooking something, and he came in the kitchen, and she was like, "Taste this." And when I saw him, he just always looked so just uninterested. Did you watch the reality show that they had together?
I think I saw it. I think I used to watch it. Girl, I just don't remember.
That's what I'm saying. I can't remember. Like, I can't give you a detailed episode at all, but I do know that I remember feeling like he didn't see it for her from watching it back then.
I think they just got on each other's nerves. I mean, some people can bring that out of you. Like, I don't know. But again, they were together for many years. They got together when they were really young. And you're not the same person. You're not the same person at your age now that you were 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So, and some people don't know how to grow within their marriages or their relationships either.
That's true.
Maybe her grace ran out because she's like, look, bruh, you still acting like you were when we were in our 20s, bruh. Yeah. We're 40 now. Like, I'm not doing this.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I think I wonder, I mean, of course there's counselors and stuff like that, but I wonder if there's anyone teaching about learning to grow together in your marriage versus growing individually. Because sometimes we grow individually and not figure out how to do that as a couple. And that's a really good point to make, because marriage is supposed to be forever. So we can't just always get to a point where we start growing and then divorce, or we'll never be. Or what, in that sense, there would be no point in getting married if that's how people view it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good point that you just made.
Yeah. But girl, you and Mr. Johnson, y'all grow together as best as you can. And if, God forbid, so I'm not even going to speak that, but just know that we will still be here in your comments, bigging you up. You know what I'm saying?
Good to know. Okay. People were like, "You
People
was
just
just up here yesterday talking about my man, my man, my man."
mm, I know people personally who have gone through a divorce, and I've seen the toll it takes on them, not just what's going on through the process of going through it, but family and public. And I don't mean like the nationwide public or worldwide public. I mean just like, on social media, like your social group and judgment. And it's like you don't know what it's like to have to go to make that decision is not the easiest thing to do. You really have to be at your breaking point, unfortunately,
I
which
know.
to say I am going to walk away from this and go forward. That's not an easy decision to make.
I know. That's why I say, especially because of the caliber of like, celebrity she is and how she knew like this was gonna be one of them things where it was gonna be everywhere that she literally had to think about this before she did it. So she's not moving irrationally at all. Like she's thought about this and she's probably contemplated back and forth. And I'm sure she's probably did everything that she possibly felt that she could do in order to, save this marriage before it was too late.
Yes, and I'm out for my personal child. This airing all my business out. The hardest thing it was for me was I thought about my child first, not even the relationship. It was my child. Like, this the last thing I ever wanted to do. How is this going to affect my child? What are people gonna think? Now my baby gonna be a statistic. Girl, I went down all of the church shame, all of it, everything,
Mm.
everything. And it was probably the worst thing I could have done to myself because then it prevents you from making the better decision because then you start thinking about everybody else and what they're gonna say instead of thinking about yourself and what's the healthier option. And so it will make you be afraid to pull the trigger. It will make you stay longer in a situation that does not suit you, okay? Instead
Okay.
of doing the inevitable, which was the demise of it all. But again, if you don't step out on faith, and this is for any woman who is out there who could be going through this, I don't know,
Mm.
maybe I was meant to share this,
Go ahead, share it, girl.
that you have to um like Cory said, don't just react off emotions, but really think about it. And then whatever your decision is yours. There will you if you have a community, there will be people who will disagree, and then there will be people who will just love you regardless of how they feel about your decision. Do it for you. Do it for what's healthy for you. We've seen people, compromise their physical health because of their mental health. We've seen people decide to leave this life because they felt they didn't want to deal with the backlash, the unkind words or whatever the case may be. And that's unfortunate. So I always say that you can't live your life for others. You can only live your life for you.
Amen. I know that's right. I
To
know
hear
that's
what people got to say. You know what I mean, girl? Please.
That's so what we doing right now is removing the shame that comes with divorce and breakups, right? Um
Yes.
and making it okay to set those boundaries, and making it okay to step into that new journey of life, making it okay to, say maybe now I'm gonna have to be a co-parent, making it okay to be healthy instead of being toxic. We just gonna make it okay.
Yes,
I think
please.
that if we do that more as women, instead of like, making it this shameful thing,
Yeah.
it will be more, and more women will leave before it's too late.
Because shame will keep you trapped, honey. Trapped, oppressed, depressed, regressed, all of them. It's not healthy and it's not good. And we want each other to be happy and whole. And I wish that for every woman. Please just seek happiness and wholeness. And it's not gonna be through anything external to you. It's gonna be all internal first because you can't be an empty pitcher. What can you pour out? Right?
Mhm.
if we could continue to neglect ourselves and putting everyone ahead of us, what can you pour out to your children if you don't have anything within you? What
Mm-hmm.
can you give your spouse if you don't have anything within you to give? So that's why I'm happy for Tia that she found herself. She's now going through that process of becoming whole so that she can show up and be better and show up as her better self for everybody else. And that's when everybody else would get the benefits of a happier, more whole Tia.
Mm, absolutely right. I had a thought in my head and it just slipped me, y'all. It just slipped me. But to go back to what you were saying about that self care, when she said self care and setting boundaries, and even that she's just now learning this at 40, it's never too late to do it. So go ahead and just do it. Okay. It's never too late oh, that's what I was going to say. I know a lot of people are also, when it comes to relationships and divorces, a lot of people are scared to start over. And I hear sometimes people say, I'd rather stick with the one that I know than to go deal with stick with someone else's BS that I don't know. Right. And I think that that's like a disservice that I think that a lot of women say, like, I'd rather stick with this one because at least I know what I get when it comes to him versus having to go start all over and dealing with someone else. That's a thing too. So I think we have to get out of that phase of where it's like, I don't want to start all over. I have so much invested. I have so much time. I have so much this and this and the other. And knowing deep down inside that we're really just not happy and we're settling for less. And even if that less wasn't in the beginning, maybe that person could have been awesome in the beginning. And now it's a couple of years down and now they're just not remaining the same person you fell in love with or not even growing to be evolved into more than what you fell in love with. That also is a thing too. So I think we gotta not be scared to start over when the time comes for us, if the time comes for people. You know.
Yes, you said a word there, Chloe, and it reminds me of a post I saw where it says, um, when you gather or gain new information, I could be butchering it. It's okay to make a new decision after gaining that new information. And like you said, the first 10 years could have been blissful, and then who knows, like we all evolve, and maybe the last 5 or 4 just wasn't the best, wasn't the healthiest. You know what I mean? So it's okay to start over. Like it's okay to say this is no longer servicing the both of us. And who else suffers when the marriage or the relationship doesn't serve both people involved? The kids. I want people to know that it does affect your children. It affects them to see such dysfunction. And the last thing I think we all want is for our kids to think that that's acceptable. It's not.
That's true. I was just watching what's that show? Oh, I was watching Tasha K yesterday with Blueface mother, and she was up there telling her life story and how she was like, what's her name? Krishan? Is that girl name?
Yeah.
How she would say that Blueface being with Krishan made her realize that he went and got someone exactly like her when she was younger. So you will be amazed at how like you don't even pay attention to certain things that you do and how it relates to your children until you'll get older and you will see how kids behave. That's why I think that is very important to be mindful of what you say, how you act, and show love as well, because that's why a lot of kids don't know how to reciprocate love. They don't know how to show love. They don't know how to, because a lot of things we didn't get to see or they didn't get to see. So when she talked about how she would be like Blueface and Krishan was like her and her baby father, it puts it in a different perspective for you, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like, at the time that's some BS, but now look at you in that same situation that your mother was in, or going after a girl that's just like your mother.
Right.
And
That's
it subconsciously too, right?
yeah. Yeah. Their situation. Mm-mm-mm. Mm.
Toxic.
Yeah.
Toxic as hell.
Oof. I just wanted someone to go and just break it up and keep them away from each other.
Yeah.
And oof, girl, this ain't even a video.
Yeah, right. I'm about to say that's like, girl, we could go on and on and on about these two, okay? But yes, we just have to be very cautious of how we staying in something thinking that it's beneficial to the kids when it's not. I told Tia she could use me as a side piece, but I don't know if I was talking to Tamara, who doesn't date black men. What? You don't know which twin you was talking to?
Is that the TK Kirkland? Like the real TK Kirkland?
I told Tia she can use me as a side piece. Okay. I mean, hey, she don't need no side piece now. She about to be single and ready to mingle. So that's that on that. And I'm not mad at her. And I'm happy that, everyone found happiness. I hope that whatever he needs to get out of this, he gets out of this as well. And I hope that this actually makes him a better person. And for the both of them, not just on her side, because we always do forget about the men, right? What if it's nothing and we like making him out to be the bad guy and he's not really the bad guy, right?
Yes, I would say that I would want both of them to go out and be better. And should they decide to partner again with either with each other or somebody else, that they would be able to show up as their best selves so they can be good spouses to someone else. If that's the way it's supposed to go,
That's how it has to be. That's how it literally has to be. I hope that you guys have liked this video. It is 82 people watching right now. Please like the video, like the video, like the video. If this is your first time here, please subscribe. If you want to join in on the conversation, you are more than welcome to, click the link and join in with us and talk to us. I mean, if you have an experience you want to share, if you just want to get some commentary on this, if you want to, put on how you feel, you're more than welcome. And we're also going through the comments as well. We're going to be up here a little, not too much longer. Don't nobody else join in. We're going to close this thing on down. But of course, y'all know that I don't like to just talk about anything. Whenever I have a conversation about something, especially when it comes to celebrity gossip and things like that, I think we need to be mindful of how we handle it. And we also have to be talking about something to get something out of it. So of course this wasn't gonna be one of those videos because y'all know I don't do those videos, right? So I just wanted to take some positive things from something so devastating, and because I think, let me ask you too, Elise, was you surprised?
You know what? I'm probably not surprised by much these days, to be honest. And it just seemed like it was a diatribe of divorce announcements, like Tom Brady and Giselle. Then it was Tia and Cory, and then with Miguel and his. Well, they've been going at it.
That's what I'm saying. Didn't she try to divorce him already?
Yeah, they haven't going at it. So, and and before then it was what's his name? Neo and Chris. Like,
oh, child, that's devastating.
What they say, the Mercury is in retrograde, but then somebody else said it was all like 4 or 5 more planets that were in retrograde as well.
Yeah, retrograde was. They said that this is the shadow period after the retrograde, where, if I'm not mistaken, it's like everything that was going to happen done happened. Now you're just going through all the after effects of it. So, like, I'm guessing that whatever people were going through, before these divorces were announced, it's finally like, bam, okay, now it's the shadow period of retrograde, if you believe in that type of stuff.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't think they had any issues, but there's no such, for me personally, I don't think there's anything a such thing as couple goals, because you don't know what people are going through. You don't know their agreements. Like, we never knew about Will and Jada for all this time. We thought that Will was cheating on Jada and she was accepting. Then they thought they was both cheating on each other, but come to find out they always had this agreement in their marriage and it was open. So it's like you just really never know.
Oh, you don't. You never know. And that's why I don't believe in couple goals. I do like when people look good together. That's a thing, But I'm with Monique on this one, because let me tell you. When I saw this, I was surprised, and I'm gonna tell you why I was surprised. But I was only surprised because I felt like Tia was gonna be one of those girls that no matter what was gonna stand beside her man. That's why I was surprised. I wasn't surprised because I felt like they were a perfect couple. I just felt like she would never let him go. which goes back to what we were just discussing, right? I mean, that's my man. I'm gonna stand beside him.
Yeah.
I felt like I was surprised because I always felt like he was never 100% in, but I always felt like she was never going to let that man go regardless. So when they said that they was getting divorced, I'm like, wow, like that's surprising. Like, no way, because I didn't think that she would be the one to do it if it was going to get done. That's why I was surprised.
Oh, so now it makes sense that you're saying like it has to be something really egregious for her to like decide to walk away because she's a I'm a stand by my man type of woman.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well,
See, that's how my mind was thinking about the whole situation. So, I mean, of course, we all see things different, but that's the explanation behind me. So that's why I was surprised. But I will tell you that if us, Russell Wilson and Sierra get divorced, I will be surprised.
yes. Now I agree with Monique on that. Like, I
And
would be like, what the hell? What
it wouldn't even be about couple goals. It would just be like, what happened? It would have to be Sierra fault at this point, right?
Well, but you know, Channing Crowder and everybody else want them. Ugh, I just don't know why they have such a obsession with him. Like Channing Crowder keeps calling him a square and he corny, and I wouldn't hang out with him. And I'm like, well, he probably wouldn't hang out with you either. So why do you care
Yeah,
about
what makes him corny? And
right?
they always say, and I'm like, what makes him a corny man? He's rich as hell, has so much money. He treats his woman like he loves her. From what we see, he take care of his kids. He accepted a child that wasn't even his into him. He seems like an upstanding guy from what we see. What makes him a dub? Because he's a proud, grown ass man who's not up here promoting drinking lean and smoking and getting high.
Girl, Channing, even when his podcast mates asked him like what makes him corny, he was like, just look at him. I said, sir, get out of my face. Like,
And
really?
yet he still has probably way more money than he probably will ever make in his life. And
Right.
just look at him.
I'm like,
That's the part that gets me. It's like, child, you talking about like I don't understand why we have made it a thing where the good guy is the well, that always been a thing, right? The good guy is the corny guy.
right,
The nice guys will finish last.
right.
But it's like this like the clip when they were saying that oh she can't have he's not her type because she goes after like the futures and stuff like that. And it's like so for a woman to decide that she wants more for herself from a man and sets boundaries and standards. Now it's like we just settling.
Girl, I keep this ain't our group chat. I mean, as if Sierra couldn't have just met him and said he is a good guy
Right.
and I like him and he treats me well. That's and that really is just it. And I don't know why the manosphere always got to do this dissection as if like, oh, it got to be something else. No, because anyone of a certain age, like, listen, baby, you can go through my whole dating history and you'll be like, there's not one man that's really the same. Because it's not, because it was how I felt or whatever phase I was in of my life at that time. And they will not be the same. They shouldn't. They might have maybe one thing in common, but that's it.
Right.
And that might be complexion, might be. But I maybe she met him, he wooed her, and look at what happened. She made the best decision, you know, to be with a man who loves her and supports her, especially after him.
Kirby said, would you growing up, honestly, would you date a Russell Wilson?
Growing up?
Okay, wait. Are we talking about just looks wise? What are we talking about? Put it in what are we really talking about? Because if we talking about like Russell Wilson now, knowing what I know now,
Monique.
absolutely not. I don't deserve a Russell. I wouldn't appreciate me either. I would have walked all over him, child. I'd have been like, ew, my man, and my side dudes. Like because he would have gave me yes man vibes growing up. So I get it.
It's not waiting until you're older to deserve that you to realize that you deserve more. It's just about maturity. Like women have to mature just like men have to mature. Like, you know what that you deserve better, but that doesn't mean you always pick better. I know I don't need to eat that cookie, but I'm gonna eat it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I can't explain it other than that we don't always make the best decisions.
And sometimes growing up, we wasn't, and I think for women too, growing up when we date those guys versus the nice guy, I think it's also because we're not looking for um I would say I wasn't looking for my forever, like my forever ever. I was just, just dating a guys that seemed spontaneous and fun and like to do what I like to do. So when I was growing up, if you like to get drunk, I like to get drunk. You like to party, I like to party. We gonna have us a good time. You got friends, I got friends. We bring out friends. We all hang out. Like that's just the vibe that I was on. I was a party girl, so I wasn't checking for those guys. But as things, change, you start to look for something more than just hanging out and partying and having a good time. You start thinking about who I want to have children with, how I want to build my life, what I want out of life, what kind of career goals I have, that type of stuff.
Right. That person could have just been there for a good time, not a long time. Like, guys be surprised that women, we think the same way. Like, not everybody we date that we want to walk down the aisle with. Like, that's not how this works.
Right, they be thinking that we want to marry them. We don't want y'all.
And me personally, I would have dated him younger. He probably would have had to have a little grace because I had a little attitude problem. But but no, I would have. I mean, for me, like Empress said, like I don't think he's corny. He might be the life of the party. Like Sierra always looks like they're having a good time in
I
life.
think so too, right?
So it's just like, well, what does corny mean? Like what I always wanted to know, like what does Channing Crowder mean by corny? And he could never really define it.
You got a good point because first of all, Sierra is a fun type of girl. Like the girl walk around with grills in her mouth. She always dancing and doing the most, and they be having their good old times and dancing together and blah 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 blah. So when you say that, you right. He doesn't strike me as a dude that's not about like, oh, I'm corny. I want to sit in the corner. Like I'm awkward and sit. He don't seem awkward in rooms.
No, he's the same opposite to me. Like his personality attracts me. That's why I'm like, damn. Not only is he aesthetically attractive, but it is something about his personality and aura that makes him even more attractive to me. Mm-hmm. And I see why Sierra went with him. Like I get it. He probably is. He's just an overall good guy. And that's what he appears. He shows, and it looks like that with everyone he interacts with. You know what I mean? Like he's loved.
Maybe they mean corny because he said he wanted to wait till he was married to have sex.
Oh, Chad.
Well, you remember that, right? They waited till they was married to have sex, and he's a God-fearing man. So maybe they mixed up God-fearing with corny.
It has to be like we need Shannon. We need you to come to the front and to define what you mean by corny, because you have yet to give the world your definition of what corny is. And when everyone asks you, is it because he treats his wife well, because he's adopted her son? And what it boils down to is that how they feel about women. Like, how dare Sierra, who moved down on from this trollop, right, of a man who has, I don't know how many children he has, and that she go and get a good one, and now he's treating her well, like she don't deserve. So that's what it makes me think that it ain't even about him. It's how they feel about her and what they think that Sierra deserves, and they felt like she did not deserve to be with him.
Because she seems like that girl. Like I just said, like, she likes to, dance and wear grills and stuff. Like she can't deserve a good man.
As if it's not a caricature. Like, we don't know her for real. Like, she's a performer. She's an entertainer. Like,
you don't think they married?
Like, we don't know her.
Why not?
Yeah, like,
see, you don't think they waited for marriage on his end or her end? Now you really feel, it's the girl, right?
I think they waited. I do. They seem like they did.
I do too. They got married pretty fast too, right? That's a good reason to get married. That's a good reason to get married. I'm just saying. Hold on now. What did Future do to us? Future ain't do nothing to us. Future did something to us besides what they allow. He do nothing but what the girls allow. I felt like Sierra was supposed to stay in a gutter. That's what they wanted, right? Like she was supposed to stay in a gutter because she was going through. And that's another thing, right? And I know we've been way off topic, y'all, but since we talking, that's another thing. I also feel like, damn, I lost my foot. She was supposed to stay in a gutter. Shoot, I lost it.
Was it about because she's a single mom? Or was a single mom?
Oh, no, because she dated multiple guys, they put a stigma on her as if she was a hoe. That's what it was. So what happens in the industry, which happens in real life, but we're not on display for the world to see, is that she was dating. And she's a no nonsense type of girl. I feel like whenever she got disrespected or cheated on, she left. Especially like I'm guessing with like 50 Cent, Bow Wow. We know Bow Wow cheated on her. We know Future cheated on her. We know all these things, right? So it's like, so what, she's just supposed to just settle for a cheating guy, and just once again that shame of dating till you find a one. It's like a stigma. It becomes like, oh, because she dated this guy, then that guy, then that guy, then that guy, then she's a hoe. And it's like, no, she just didn't settle for the BS and put up with the BS just to say, I'm still with this guy.
Yeah, they say the same thing about Lori Harvey, honey. It just goes to show you like how they think women are supposed to act and behave. Like, oh no, the first guy that you meet and date, you're supposed to marry him. You're not supposed to just date. Only men can do that. Like, what?
That's true.
Exercise our options. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's so weird. I really don't understand men that think like that. I mean, I get why they think like that, but girl, no. That's why I'm not for them. Like, there's a woman who subscribes to their way of thinking and it works for them. For me, no, they will be calling me all kinds of names.
But that's the thing. But I really think that's what it was. I think they started to label her as a hoe, and a hoe, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. He's a clown because he really went after that girl. Like, he really think that she loved him. She just went him for his money type of thing. People, I think that's how a lot of men think about it too. But they Kenya says because she dated 3 rappers, 2 someone's their Maya. So what you trying to say? They don't Maya Bow Wow? That's what you saying? I just had to throw that out there, okay? Because you said 2, which they Maya.
I mean, I still don't see how that makes her a hoe though, and they still have to prove to me how Lori Harvey is a hoe. Like, I don't get it. She's just a young lady. She dating. These clowns ain't working out, and you move on. What's she supposed to stay, girl?
Well, they say that. I'm with you on that one, Kirby. That does give whole behavior, because she was dating, Puffy and his son.
Listen, do we treat the men who do that? Do we treat men like that though?
I mean, I do. They for the streets.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm not gonna hold you. That is kind of low key hoe-ish behavior, but I'm just saying, okay.
That means she a bad thing. If the daddy and the son wanted, honey, listen.
Oh, you broke up with me. Now I'm about to be your stepmother.
That's the ultimate get back. Jesus.
Right?
Like, I'm about to. You is my son, honey. I'm just.
And you better respect me.
Yeah. Let's put it back on the man. What do you say about Diddy to date his son's ex-girl? Let's talk about it.
Look, because Diddy don't care.
Exactly. So if the men in the situation don't care, why is it Lori's problem?
Good point. Look, they don't care. They fine with it. Then I guess we all fine with it. Men who do that are also hoes, but the women are usually passing these dudes around.
So everybody consensually passing each other around. Are they
That's
passing
it's
themselves?
giving love and hip hop. Everybody's everybody. You have her, then you have her, then you have her. And they always talk about the woman being a hoe and not the girl, right? Never is about the girl, the guys that pick up the girl. It's always the girl.
Yeah, it's always gonna be the woman's problem, child. These let them tell it. That Future and everybody else tell it. They're just so innocent. Like you rarely meet maybe Ray J. I don't know. Ray J does talk out the side of his neck sometimes. Like you rarely meet a man that be like, you know what? I know I ain't ish, and I know how I treat women ain't ish, but hey, like it's very rare that you'll meet a self-aware man in that realm, not across the board, but just in that realm that'll say, you know what? I'm moving wild too, so I can't be mad.
Girl, I stay out that realm because they ain't about to have me and my feelings up hot and bothered, ready to curse everybody out. Mind my business when it comes to that realm because I ain't got the energy for them men with the microphones. But
Oh, come on up, Kirby. Kirby said he want to come up. I think if he's
yeah,
scroll
you
back,
can come up. I'll put the link in there. I put the link in. Not a hoe, but it made her no better than a groupie to a BM. Men who do that. It's kind of like how they can't having all these kids too with all these different women, and somehow all the women are the ones getting all the backlash about it, right?
true that.
Mm-hmm.
Or girl, like we people don't flame Nick, but they flaming Kiki. At least all Kiki babies. Well, I don't want to say all. And there's consistency with
You
her.
think they been flaming Kiki though? I think it just is what it is now when it comes to Kiki White. Like it just is what it is.
You know, every time she pop up pregnant, they be like, "Oh Lord, Kiki having another baby. What's this baby number 16?"
But she was married, right?
Yeah, she is married.
So it's a different because I think all her kids, most of all her kids, by the same person.
I think there's maybe 2 or 3 men. I don't know. I don't want to talk about that lady. I don't want to talk about her hot box. I don't know what she do with it, but I just do. I do know. I think she has 12 children now,
Dang, yo, that's a lot of kids.
or 11.
How your bodies handle it? How?
I always wanted to know that about the Duggars. Like, ma'am, 20 something babies, you couldn't. It's a no for me. But I know that is their religion, so I don't want to be disrespectful, but it's a no for me, dog. I'm not gonna be pregnant for 20 years out of my life.
What religion is that?
Are they Mormon? I don't remember.
What's in a religion? Have kids?
I guess they just procreate so there's no abortions.
Well, you don't have to actually do that to not get pregnant.
Maybe they can't take birth control either. I don't know.
You can't pull out either.
I don't think so.
Child. Oh Lord. Use no condom, no nothing.
Ooh, baby, I don't know. I was like, yikes. I can't.
Because I'm just trying to figure out like what's in the agreement of this religion where it says that man, I don't know. Yeah, I ain't gonna try that Mormon religion. I'm good on that one.
Baby, we would have to sleep in separate rooms because you can't touch me no more. Every time you touch me, here comes a baby. That's 20 years out of my life. My womb has been full. And yes, that's a blessing. I don't want that to be lost on our discussion, but it's just like 20 something children. It's a no.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, if that's what they want, then good for them.
Yeah, God bless you.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Good. Well, at this point, she might as well just be a surrogate and just carry kids for people. But at this point,
well, their oldest son was caught up in some shenanigans. This was a few years back, and he had some charges brought up against him.
Lord,
about something that happened between he and his sisters, or what he did to his sisters.
ooh, child.
yeah, it's some darkness behind that. But she had a lot of twins, and I think she had a lot of twins and triplets. I think she had quadruplets at one time. Like
Wow.
she was.
That's a blessing, but that's a lot.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
That's a lot. My mother had two sets of twins. I was a twin, and my brothers are twins. And she was like, I had to get my tubes tied because I was not about to have triplets.
Oh my gosh, really?
Mhm.
Girl.
Yeah. And the thing is, my sister is a single, like a single. So she wasn't a twin. So that was her first child. Then you have me and my sister, twins, bam. And then pregnant again. I think, well, my twin sister died at 3 months. So I guess when my mother was blessed with my brothers, it probably was to fulfill that, that twin, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess that void. Maybe she had a void. I don't know. I'm just speaking, out loud. But
Yeah.
maybe that twin void that she missed out on from me and my sister, she regained with my brothers. So that's cool. Oh, Fabe, you a twin too? That's
Oh,
cool. That's so cool. It's a twin them.
baby, your mama went from a single birth to a twin. I have to ask people that like who go from having a single birth to twins, like, what's life like? Because every time I ask people with twins, they're like, well, that's all I know. My babies, I had twins, so I don't know what it's like to have, a single birth child. But to go from 1 to 2 to now 3,
Yeah.
that gotta be tough.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot. Especially like one baby almost sent me through the roof. So me
Honey,
and my husband was sitting there like, what we doing? Like, this is not it. Okay. Imagine too. Lord. Mm-mm. Mm.
oh my goodness. My mom and I, we were talking about there should be like mandatory parenting classes because for real, you really don't know what you're getting into until it's time to leave the hospital. And you're like, for real, you gonna let me leave with this whole human? So ain't nobody gonna be there to help. Like, nobody from the nursery gonna come get this baby when I just want to go to sleep. Like, are you kidding me? Because both parents be tired and the mom be dog tired, okay?
Mm.
But the dad is also super tired too, because he's trying to help both people and everybody don't know what's going on. And girl,
A
maybe
lot.
I'm talking about me, but woo,
Yeah, it's a lot. Me and my husband, when my daughter was starting to get a little older, we started taking turns. We was like, it's your night, and then it's my night. So one night, if the baby cried, he gotta get it. The next night, it was my night, and then we would switch roles. We'll both end up waking up. But baby, let me tell you, when we stuck to them nights, we stuck to them nights. So if that baby was crying, it wasn't like, can you get her? It was like, nope, it's your night. No,
yes.
you either.
Listen, you gotta be like Tia and set your boundaries. You gonna be like, it's not my night. It is not my night. I'm not. Can't do it.
Sorry, I can't hear her. I don't hear her at all. But yeah, so that's a thing. But yeah, so I would say this. I'm happy for Tia for finding self love, self care, and setting her new boundaries for her new life and her new journey. And I don't want people to think that just because she's getting divorced means that she's going to be sad in a sucking place, and that just because she's getting divorced means that she can't find her new boo, because she could find her new boo. And it's never too late to get married. My mother about to get married, and she 50 something.
Who's that?
My mama.
What?
Yup.
Yes, mama.
Okay, and my aunt just got married, and she's 50 something, like 57. So it's never too late to do it.
Oh, congratulations to them.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
who
don't
said that women with multiple children can't get married? Who said that? Oh,
who said that?
who said that?
I don't know who said that.
Oh, well, no, I'm happy for your mom and your auntie. Yes, they better get it, honey.
So that's why I say people think like, oh, you get a divorce, it's over. Oh, you're too late. Don't let them lie to you and tell you that once you get a certain age, you can't find love and you can't be happy, because that is a lie from the pits of hell.
Amen.
Amen. It may be a little harder. I ain't gonna lie about that part, but it's not impossible.
Right. That's the message right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not impossible. Where's Kirby?
I don't know. I was waiting for him to come up, but I guess he ain't got nothing to say. I've been married for 13 years. Sometimes relationships just run out of gas. I agree, Jay. But you don't ever feel like, put the gas back in it. And I don't want y'all to think that I'm one of those people that's like, fight for your marriage. Like, I tell y'all to the end, fight until you can't fight no more. But that's why I be so scared, because it's like, you could actually just one day be like, I don't want to fight no more. It's not worth it. That's scary.
Hey Jay. I don't think that's it. I don't think that's what they're saying. I think they're just like, it's a natural thing that you can run out of gas. Just, it's all in how you deal with it going forward. Some people just say, I don't have no gas and I'm not going to the gas station. You know what I mean? And maybe some people let the car run out because it needs to run out, the gas need to go. I don't know. But, I think it's just a natural occurrence. Like, friendships. Like, how, if you ever have any friendships that have gone beyond decades, y'all go through ebbs and flows in y'all relationship, in your friendship. I have a really close friendship group. If you saw my stories, girl, then you saw it. I know no girls for 24, 25 years, some of them 30 some years. And we've all grown in different ways. And it has been ebbs and flows. Sometimes we would talk a lot, and then there are periods where we don't talk a lot. It just depends, but we are so committed to our friendship that we don't keep account of the bad things, right?
Right.
It's like, was it 1 Corinthians 13, where it talks about love? Love does not take account of, transgressions. Like, so you just continue. If you're committed to it, you'll put in the work. I guess I said all that to say that.
Yeah, I get it. Hey, Kirby.
Hey, ladies, how you doing?
Hey.
Fine.
That's good. Yeah. So what we talking about?
Well, we were just talking about, we done talked about so many things. So what did you call to talk about?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was just talking about everything that's been going on, and for these couples, all of them except for Tia, I'm not surprised that they're getting a divorce. I'm not surprised.
Why are you surprised with Tia?
Uh, they just seem like a perfect couple to me. I mean, I'm not really in their business, but yeah, I'm just surprised. I don't know how to explain it though, but
Okay. I mean, I get it. I get it. It's just like a lot of people was surprised. A lot of people were surprised. So I definitely understand why you would be surprised. I just feel, I just always felt like he wasn't that into her. So I just was more surprised that she's the one that ended it.
okay. I thought that he was more into her than she was into him.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. How did you see that? Well, what gave you that perception?
Because most guys won't be okay being in the background when it comes to dating someone like her.
Oh, so you're speaking from a man's point of view now.
Yes. Because the fact that you're dating a woman that's more successful than you, most guys won't really like that. So therefore, it will typically be the man that will ask for a divorce, not the woman. But being that he was okay with being in the background, I was kind of surprised though. Yeah, because I kind of heard that when she first met him, he was broke, no car, waiting for the bus. Yeah, so the fact that she still accepted him, that's fine. But then once the two of them stayed married for about 2 to 5 years, that's when he would have wanted to be like the head of the household. So it's like, I know that you took care of me in the beginning, but after a while, I need to be like the leader. If you know what I mean.
So do you not feel that? Okay, so let me ask you this as a man. Do you feel as though because a woman has a more successful career than you, or can bring more to the table than you can, do you feel as though that means you can't leave your house?
You can still leave your house, but typically when some women have more than you, they don't know how to let go of that a leadership role. Typically,
I felt like Tia was a little submissive though. That's why I asked that. I never seen it like she didn't let him step up to be the man of the house.
yeah. And possibly maybe during their marriage, she was going around telling other people what's going on within their marriage. Because
You think she was telling everybody what was going on?
yeah, and typically when you're married, you can't really do that. You have to keep certain things within the marriage.
I
Because yeah, so
Interesting. So so what do you think so what did you get from when she said to be stuck in an illusion, like her marriage was an illusion?
publicly, yes, it was an illusion because everyone thought that they had the perfect marriage because that's what they sold us, not knowing that they had things going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about.
Good point. So you think the illusion was for us, not for her.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
y'all was in a like to be stuck in this illusion that we in a happy marriage when we're not.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good point because I didn't think of it that way. I thought it was her in her own marriage, putting up an illusion like things was good when it wasn't.
Okay. Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, I
Hold
can't.
something to at least what you I think you were like too close probably.
Girl, the headsets was playing.
Okay.
Um, so he has to make more money in order for him to be the lead or the head of household.
It's not about making more money though, but I just felt that uh, she wasn't allowing him. Well, maybe I'm not sure. I don't know, but I just feel like uh, maybe she wasn't allowing him to take the lead, but maybe he was trying to take the lead, but she wasn't allowing him to because sometimes even when I'm trying to take the lead and show you that I do have those leadership qualities, sometimes a woman will think that the man is not doing enough. So what I think is enough may not be enough for you.
So when you hear him say acting off emotions, do you think that has something to do with that leadership role? Like maybe he felt like he needed to be more dominant, and then trying to do that, it cost him.
Well, acting off emotion is pretty much telling your business without really thinking about what you're going to say, because the fact that you're really posting this on public, even though it's really our marriage and nobody should know, that's really acting off emotion. It's not about taking the leadership role.
So you read it how I read it too, right? Like he kind of was throwing it back on her in that sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know now I'm starting to realize that I wasn't the only one who initially read it that way. Because when I read it, I felt as though he was saying like you acting off emotions would have cost you every time, like you're doing too much too early, too soon, or you're moving too fast because you're in your feelings.
Okay, and plus the way I see it is that maybe she always acted off emotion, and that he tried to really, you know, help her out, stop her from being way too emotional before things acted out of hand. But then maybe she didn't really take it well, possibly.
I think TMZ actually spilled their tea before either one of them could put out a statement. And so sometimes when the media does it before you, you have to do it retroactively and control the narrative. And because I'm sure both of them have been media trained over the course of time, they had, Tamara had to speak on it. And her fans would be like, "Well, girl, what's going on?" And the last thing you want to do is allow TMZ to write the narrative about your situation. So I get why she then had to say something, but I still don't think it was about her, the post. to be honest.
Yeah,
But
but how did TMZ found out though? TMZ found out from someone within their camp
mm,
that she told.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
you know, divorce decrees are public record.
yeah. I was about to say that. I don't think that she. I think that like when people are filed, it's like that time when Cardi B went to file for divorce from Offset. They found out because you got to put it in the actual court system, so then it becomes public knowledge.
Yeah,
Okay.
and their job is to stay on the T of, you know, that's what they do day in and day out, is find out information. And with something public like that, that's how they know when people are their houses in foreclosure, or it was a short sale, whatever it is, anything that is public record, anybody can look
Okay.
yes, Jay.
See, they be at the courthouse, okay? But I now the first time I read it, I saw how you saw Curvy, but now after talking and discussing it out loud, I'm seeing it in a different way. I'm seeing as though maybe he did something that he acted out of emotion, but that emotion word trips me up, and I know y'all will probably be upset when I still say that he did something, and maybe y'all gonna say Chloe don't like men because Chloe always say it's the man, but I do feel like something happened. I honestly, and I'll put that, and I'm saying that again. I don't think they just grew apart. They could have grew apart, which caused them to do things to each other, which caused us the divorce. But I feel like something definitely happened.
Mm, all right.
Yeah, I agree, Sandria. I wouldn't want to be a celebrity. I would that somebody would just be like, let me look up such and such today and see what's going on in their public records. Oh, they got a divorce, girl. Well, let me tell it. Like, yeah, let me tell my family or somebody first before you go spilling my beans. Goodness.
But anyway, on the bright side, at least Roger still has a chance.
Ciao, Marcus
Ew.
Houston. Nah, he done married his little 19-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah, Tia would be too old for him,
Yeah.
allegedly, but not allegedly.
Okay, and talking about Roger, do you guys consider him as like the nice guy character on the show?
You talking about the character or the real Marcus Houston?
No. Based on like the show Sister Sister, do you think Roger was like the nice guy who was in the friend zone? Because anytime he tried to talk to them, like the twins will always tell him to go home.
I wouldn't say that he was a nice guy. I think he was just the younger, aggravating kid next door because he was younger than him too.
Uh,
Yeah, he was just a little nuisance. Like, I think they saw him more like a brother.
It wasn't until he got older, then they was like really looking at him when he got older. Remember when he came back?
yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and what do you think about Nia Long?
Mm.
Mm. I wish her the best.
I think that it's unfortunate, but I also my thing is I feel like it's unfortunate that she has to go through what she's going through after she done had this man's kids, and he didn't even give her the courtesy to let her know what was happening ahead of time before she got blindsided. That's the part about the whole thing that bothers me the most, because I feel like where's your loyalty to some extent, knowing that I'm a celebrity and that people are going to run with this. And he ruined it, but I also feel like at the end of the day, um, it's just sad. I hate when it comes to like cheating and stuff like that. Especially when women, well, especially from this instance, because she's a woman and she's been with this man for a long amount of time, and he proposed to her and they were engaged, and then she was saying that she didn't want to get married and stuff like this. But it's like all that time wasted. I feel more upset about the time being wasted, knowing that you had no intention of being faithful to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I felt like the two of them should not have stayed together that long. I mean, the two of them have been together for about over 10 years. They have a child, but they've never been married. So I feel like she should have never had like a child with him until they got married. So she's pretty much 10 years a girlfriend.
That's exactly what I was trying to get at. Like the time wasted. Like why invest so much into a relationship, have kids and stuff like that, and then decide, oh, I'm gonna propose to you. We're gonna like, and then I think it's the respect thing as well. Like once he found out that this was getting out, he still didn't tell her. Like he literally gave her nothing throughout all of this. He literally just backstabbed her and betrayed her, wasted her time and everything like that. It's ridiculous.
And now people like Marlon Wayans are trying to tell her that she should give him like another chance. To me, no, I don't think so. But
Well, Marlon Wayne is the last person that need to be giving somebody advice, but hey, we all have our opinions. But back to that, I mean, even if they had kids after being married, would that would have prevented him from cheating? Probably not. Like you
But
can do
is that also a telltale sign that maybe he didn't feel that serious about you as well?
guess that man would have to. I see both sides, right?
Yeah.
Because I've known men who have gotten married and still played, and I mean played. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? And they people because I don't want to just say the church, but certain religious beliefs have put all this pressure on the woman to do everything right, and you can do everything right, air quote, right in life, and still the outcome is not guaranteed. Like it maybe she didn't think that he would do this. Maybe it sounds like she just didn't want to get married, and maybe he wanted to. So maybe he had been pressing her, and because she didn't want to, you never know. And maybe she foresaw that this man is just not serious, or I don't see it's something that he's not doing that's making me think that I want to be tied to him. Who knows? Who knows? But in the what needs to be highlighted is the character,
Mm-hmm.
and it appears to be in his character to be a liar,
Part.
integrity, and just poor character traits all the way around. You know what I mean? Because if he knew he was about to get fired, and you gonna tell me to move anyway, my dude, and then I get there.
he didn't get fired. He just got suspended for the whole season.
Yeah,
So,
that doesn't I
sorry.
mean, not fired, but what I'm saying is there was a serious action that was about to take place
Hmm.
that can affect your income. And if we are in partnership, regardless if we're married or not, and you don't tell me until I move out there, that's just that's dishonest. That makes him a liar. So I personally don't blame her for not marrying him. Probably save her a lot of paperwork and having to split further assets or whatever. It might be more of an open and shut case, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they don't have as much intertwined as we may think that they do.
Hmm. Yeah, but then again, why have a kid with him?
She got pregnant. Maybe she didn't want to get an abortion.
That could
For
be it.
some people, it really is just that simple. Some women just want to be mothers too.
That's that part too. Some women just want to be mothers, and some women, like what's her name, Khloe Kardashian, she rather have her kids have the same father by
Mhm,
the same dusty dude than
mhm.
to have two different baby daddies.
Yeah. Oof.
So that's a thing. It's a thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
sometimes it's not always about the man. That's another thing. Like we women have to take, responsibility. And sometimes women make these decisions on their own as well. Like if she just wanted to have kids by the same man just to have her kids so I could have one baby father, and then, who are we to say, oh well that's dumb. You was being cheated on, this, that, and the other, and maybe she felt something different.
Yeah, and at least now J. Cole has a chance because
Oh Lord.
rushing. Yeah,
J. Cole is I don't want to say happily married because I don't know, but I know he is married.
Child, we can't even say people happily married anymore. Like from what it seems like,
He
they
appears to
seem
be very happily married.
it's so sad. Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah.
So I just read a comment that said that nothing is forever. So why do you can have many great loves in your life? I do feel like that, but that's why I say that I'm scared for my marriage in its title because I feel like when just thinking about let's just think about marriage in general, right? When you marry someone, that feeling, you feel like this is your forever person, you love them, everything is great, you have some of the best times, you go through some of the worst times together, you experience all of each other, and you feel like there's nothing that you guys won't be able to get through, and then something hits you where it's like we can't get through this. That's what makes me nervous because I can always say like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna fight for my man." But who knows what could happen to the point where it'd be like, I'm not fighting for this." Like that's some bull, you know. And it's so sad that like when you start to realize how common divorce is, and then when you start to hear the stories, or even when you hear people tell you about how they've been married for 40, 30 years, or and then they get divorced, and you think about all these things, you just be like, I hope that don't be me. And you know, like it's crazy. I'm just saying, like, just hypothetically thinking out loud, like that's crazy. It could be, you know, like that's sad.
Yeah, it's the I can't think of the name of the movie, but it's on Netflix. And Tisha Campbell is in it. It's really good, and it was about a divorce. And but let me put this disclaimer out here because it does matter for some people. It's about a gay couple that got divorced, and just like how the husband kind of went through that process. And they had been together for a long time, and it didn't appear that there were any issues. And the next thing you know, his husband just says, I just want to get a divorce. And they had like bought all this stuff. It's a funny movie to watch. It was really good. I can't think of the name. But when I do go back on my Netflix, Chloe, I'm gonna put it in the group chat.
Okay.
And it's a good movie to watch. It really is. But you just don't know what life is going to give and bring.
And I know it's the scary part.
And I do agree with I'm awake
Hmm.
about some people want to be in polyamorous relationships, and then they get with people who like monogamy. Like for me, what I think, some men want to be poly, but they don't want the women to be poly.
Yeah.
Like they want the option to move about, but not the ladies. Y'all can't move about. And I don't think that's fair, because if you're going to enter into a poly relationship, then everybody should have the option to move about as they see fit.
But
And then
there's different it's like polyamorous, polygamy, like there's different sections of it. So there are some where they it's like open, and then there are some where it's just like the men and then women. But
mhm.
there's some like where it's like the woman and the men, or they everyone has their own partners and stuff like that. People, I guess it's all into what you agree to. I think a lot of women now are trying to be poly with the idea of he's going to cheat anyway.
Mm, yeah, some people will get with a poly man and be like, "Wow," and they, I guess, unwillingly agree to it.
Yeah, because we conditioned ourselves for men to think that like one of the comments said, men are gonna cheat anyway, right? So a lot of women have conditioned themselves to settle for the fact that I'd rather know about it than be getting cheated on. Like I'd rather have that open instead of making that man stand up and be committed and being loyal and really making him prove that he's gonna be that one for you. It's like conforming to this idea that, oh well, men gonna cheat, so I might as well just accept it. And as long as I know about it, then it's all good. When we saw that on what's that show, Couples Therapy with Michael Blackson, she got with him thinking that she was going to change him from sleeping with all these women, and then gave him rules and said you can only sleep with, you know, one woman a month, and that woman that you sleep with, you can't double back, like you can't spin a block, and then you can't take her out, you can't do nothing, just hit it and quit it, right? And now he's not even keeping up to that part of just one woman a month and not spinning a block. So it's like you try to make something because you feel like you want to give that man um the freedom for him to, like, you know, because it's gonna happen regardless. And I think that's sad that that's the idea that a lot of women are starting to go with this polygamy thing. Not saying that that's what you want, that's perfectly fine. But I mean, if you are just doing it because you feel like, oh well, he's going to cheat, so I might as well just accept it and know about it.
Yeah, I don't understand why she wanted to giving him hall passes, like when she just literally had the option of not choosing to partner with him. Like, you don't have to settle for Michael Blackson, first of all. Oof. But at any point, you know, or any man, and enter
Mhm.
into an agreement where he gets to, it's only beneficial for him. Like, what's the benefit that you get out of it?
Mhm.
You feel like you could sleep better because you know you gave him a hall pass to cheat once. He can't spin the block. Like, girl, what? No, like, no. Mm-mm.
That's what I'm saying. Like, then you want to put rules on how he could cheat. Like, child, let that man cheat in peace. And that's the thing too. Women rather, I don't care what he do, cheat respectfully. That's a thing too, right? When they can cheat, and as long as you don't know about it, and they make sure that they cross all their T's and dot all their I's, and it never gets back to you and blah 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 blah. Then the women are fine with that. Like, I'm gonna let him cheat in peace. What I don't know won't hurt me. That's a thing as well. I feel like men have conditioned of women into a lot of things that sound crazy to me when you say
Mm-hmm.
it out loud.
Yes. And we know some alleged God-fearing men who have also cheated. So, and it's even men who wear the cloth and stand in pulpits who have cheated on their wives. Um, so God-fearing men do cheat.
I already know that already.
Not you already know that already.
Quick, question though. When you found that out, has that changed your a view about the church when you found out that your pastor was cheating on a wife?
My actual pastor when growing up was cheating on his wife.
And did that change your view about the church? Like, were you originally so preachy, and then when you found out that your pastor was cheating, that took you away from the church a little
I
bit?
wouldn't say that took me away from the church. I think that when it comes to religion, I think you have to be steadfast in what you're actually believing versus the people who are delivering a message. So for me, I think that my relationship with God and Jesus has nothing to do with the person delivering the message. But I'm not going to go to that church knowing that he's not living what he's preaching. Although we all human and we fall short of the glory of God, we sin and stuff like that. I think there's a different level of restraint that you have when you are, you know, a pastor per se, or, you know, a bishop or whatever. I think you have to. There's a certain amount of like sin that probably should not be in your dictionary. You know what I mean? Like slipping up, cursing every now and then is like, okay, I understand that's a human thing, but to actually make a cheating is a conscious decision. It's planned out. It's something. It involves lying, deceit, and all these different things that go into play when it comes to cheating. So for someone to be able to do that to another person, it's not anything that you should take lightly, because you had to entertain this person, get access to this person, lie about where you were going, and commit an act. You know, it wasn't something that just happened. So, in that sense, that's why I'm just like, I don't think that for me, it just moved me away from that church, not necessarily um, my beliefs.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't take me away from the church. That's he has to bear that cross and deal with that, you know. Um, it was a definitive decision that he made. He or she, if it's a female pastor. Um, I'm never I'm not tethered to my beliefs off of a specific pastor or anyone. That's my salvation, and my beliefs are separate from that. And I understand humans will human every time, they're not going to be perfect.
That part, humans are. But I do feel like as a man of the cloth, you have to have some type of restraint over yourself, especially people who are pastors and things like that, because they do a lot of counseling and praying and things like that over other people. So if people are looking for to you for advice, like how are you gonna be my marriage counselor and you cheating on your wife?
Facts.
Like how? Explain. Like certain things just don't make sense to me. So I feel like there's certain things that you expect from a pastor that should never happen while in ministry at a certain point in their life. You know what I mean? I can understand everyone has a past. So if that was your past, something you did, blah, 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 blah. And then once you found God and you moved into this ministry, things are different. Understandable. But to be actively, giving couples therapy, marrying people and things like that, and you got your wife up here, your first lady, and you treating her, it's the embarrassment for me. The one thing I cannot stand about people who cheat, men or women, is embarrassing. Do you know how embarrassing it is to wear a ring? And I'm talking about like in marriage, to wear a ring to show that you are taken by someone, to committed to loving you in these vows under God, and for that person to be doing you so dirty. And it's just like, it's embarrassing. Like how do you not care about someone being able to throw this back in this person's face,
In the church too.
Right.
Child.
And just all in any instance, like it's embarrassing. Like, and I think that people who cheat need to really, that's why a part of me says you can't go back, because one, it was thought out, it was planned, and two, it was you didn't even take in consideration how this would affect me.
Yeah, because it was a selfish decision, and the impact is just crazy. And I just don't think that people, when they make the decision, because yes, cheating is planned, it is a decision. I hate when people say, well, I made a mistake. No, you just made a dumb decision and you had to stand in it. Like, you decided to entertain someone outside of your marriage or relationship, because there's always points along the way that you can say, I don't have to do this. I don't want to do this. This isn't right. But you kept it going for whatever reason. And you just have to stand in it. And a lot of people just don't. So that pastor, be a man or a woman, but it's all historically we've seen it be men, he's going to have to stand before his congregation and explain his decision. Should he be held highly accountable? Yes, because if you're placed in a leadership position and you're over people's lives or teaching them the word and guiding them in a situation, and you don't even have, like you said, Chloe, the restraint and the discipline to not entertain certain things, then you might need to sit down.
Right.
And Leah, I think he does still have a church. I think, right? I think he's pastoring in Atlanta, I want to say.
Oh, which one?
Jamal.
Oh God. Oh. He's still pastoring, child, and sleeping with the congregation. And then you got what's his name? John, that pastor. He the one that's in the hospital fighting for his life while he was out here cheating on his wife multiple times.
Oh, John Gray, right?
Yeah. Child, it's ghetto out here. That's sad, yo. You really think you marrying a man of God? Let me not even go there.
Listen, I'm trying to have restraint. That's why you can't man of God me all crazy, because I'm like, we're not going there. Don't you do that. A whole bunch of quote unquote man of God that's been out here wild, moving wild.
Crazy. And that's why people say I stick with the one I know, because that's why they all do the same thing. It's so sad that's how men are viewed. Kirby, you still here? You got a reply to that?
Oh, hey, ladies. As for John Gray, I just didn't think that he went through his whole phase because he did talk about how he lost his virginity to his wife at 37. So I think once he started getting lots of attention, he just took full advantage of it. So I feel like if he would have went to his dating phase at a much younger age, he wouldn't be cheating on his wife, because the church always tells you that people should wait till marriage, but they never talk about um, what if you have those urges, yada yada yada, who to talk to if you do have those urges, because the church doesn't want to talk about sex at all. They just want to overlook it until someone's child gets molested. So I don't think it was John Gray's fault, to be honest with you. Hello.
You don't think that it was a 37-year-old man who married and committed to his wife, who was a pastor, his fault for cheating on his wife because he didn't go through a whole phase?
That's just me. That's just me.
Huh?
Uh,
Kirby had to laugh at that because it didn't even try.
Cause like, wait, what?
no, but I'm saying when you've been with pretty much one person only, like your whole life, you do sometimes tend to be curious about what's out there,
Mm.
and the church just tells you to be married at 18 and stick with that person for your whole life, but they
Mm.
don't tell you on how to date around, how to get to know other people.
Oh, okay. And you think because he waited so long to actually have sex that he probably just wants to experience other people
Unfortunately, yeah,
because he never got the chance to.
yeah.
I thought that, so for me, I thought that when it comes to religion, when they say wait for marriage to have sex, is that you both have waited, you both now experience sex together for the first time. You have nothing to compare it to. So you don't, so all you know is this person is supposed to be great, it's supposed to be magical, it's supposed to be a covenant between you two, you know? So I always thought that the idea of it sound great because it's like you don't know, like you know how some people say, "What if you get married and the sex is bad?" But if you wait to marriage, you wouldn't know what the sex is supposed to be like anyway.
Okay,
I
so
was just getting ready to say that, Chloe. How would he know what somebody else's Never mind. You said it right.
okay, so do you support people who choose to wait till they're married, whether or not they're either celibate or abstinent?
Oh, I do. But I feel like that has to be your decision and not because you think that that's going to help you find a good man. Like, you know how some women say, I'm not going to have sex till I'm married because I want to find me a good man because I want to make sure that I don't think that that's the reason. I think that if it's something that you choose to really do, it has to be for you and, you know, for your own purpose and not because you think that it's going to make you seem more pure or make you seem like you're going to get the right one. It just has to be a decision on your own behalf, like I think. Because like that's that 90-day rule, right? Where they go, oh, I don't have sex with men for 90 days. And it's like, girl, if you wait 90 days, then you're gonna have sex with him, he still will leave you. Like, what that got to do with anything, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm sorry. So because he was a person, a man of cloth, right? Shouldn't he have known better than Kirby by your example about he should have known and understood about sexual urges and the natural desires for sex? So he should have better armed or prepared himself to come up against those things.
Yeah, he should better control himself. I mean, me personally, I've never cheated, so I don't know what it's like to be a cheater. But uh,
So then it's not all men, right? When they say, oh, all men cheat.
no, it's not really all men. No, typically it's the people that you normally hang around, like like the type of guys you choose. So therefore, if you're choosing the same type of guys who are always cheating on you, who are always doing this or that to you, then it's really your choice. So therefore, that's when you have to really reevaluate your choice.
But it seems like guys are men, I should say, are socialized to like go and have like their whole phase. Like women are not socialized to have a whole phase before they get married, and I can tell you that for sure. Especially within the church, honey. Please, what you telling women to save yourself and do this and do that, while the boys or the men, even in society, let's just say outside of the church, women are always been socialized to be more demure and more um kept, if you will, while men just get to run amok and find any and every hole to put something in. You know what I mean? So if women are being told to preserve, but men are not being told to preserve, like, and how is it her fault that when she's been trying to do was preserve herself, and then she comes across a wolf in sheep's clothing?
Well, typically it usually takes a month to start seeing the red flags because let's be honest, when you dated somebody, didn't you start seeing red flags after like a month? How long it took for you to start seeing like this guy wasn't right for you?
You mean when they dropped their representative?
Yes,
Ooh, child, it could have been like 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah,
Yeah, men are
It
really
don't take
good
9 months
at
now.
hiding it.
like Jay said, all men do is lie. No, but Carrie, really, for serious though, people can keep up the charade. They can. They men and women do it, but we know a lot of men historically can keep a lie alive. You know,
Okay, but let me say this though. If a man would have met that man, he would have already known about his red flags sooner than the 9 months. Personally, like, okay, look, how about this? Have you ever met your a brother's girlfriends and then told him he's not it for you, but for him, he never saw the red flags until 9 months later, but you saw the red flags after like 2 weeks or a month?
um, have I discerned that? Yeah, I'm not in the situation. It's always easier for the people on the outside to see it before the person on the inside. And I would try not to advise them to do anything opposite because sometimes, I mean, I hate to say it, but sometimes people have to learn it for themselves because if you try to give them guidance at times, they're not the most receptive.
Well, for me, I'm not gonna care. I'm gonna tell them my opinion, and if we lose our friendship, then that's fine. Because typically, when you tell them your opinion, and then they stop talking to you, and then they realize that this person was right all the time, that's when they'll reach out. I mean, reach back out to you to apologize and say, "I'm sorry. This guy was not good for me." Yada yada yada.
But we still not getting to the root of why that man has poor character, though. Like, what is it that the men's with the Z can can coach their brothers and be like, look, you need to have a better character, dude. You can't be out here treating women like that. If men say they hold women in such a high regard, because then it just makes me think that not every man has respect for women.
We do teach men about that, but sometimes those men don't listen. Uh, and well, here's the thing, though. As men, we're taught to be leaders when it comes to anything. So therefore, the man needs to have experience when it comes to any aspect of life because we're supposed to come into that relationship knowing more than a woman when it comes to most aspects. So therefore, that's why we're taught to whore around because when we do end up in a relationship, that woman will want you to have experience in the bedroom compared to like a guy who's been only had one woman his whole life, correct?
I thought that from how I viewed it, I thought that men were being taught to, sleep around and get out their whole face, so that when they find that woman to settle down with,
He's
they
not gonna want to hold around. Yeah.
right. And then I also felt like they say that because women are being trained to be more like women. We love hard, right? When
Mhm.
we love, and we're more likely to be committed. Not the new age women. The new age women, hey, they out here, okay, and I ain't mad at it. But like we're more susceptible to being loyal than men are. So I think that's where it goes into, like, when a man finds his woman after he's been through a bunch of women, then he'll be a good man.
Yeah, but aren't women naturally monogamous though? So no one really has to always teach the woman to be faithful, or all of that.
Well, I would think that humans, if that's the case, and you could place it on both people, men and women should be naturally monogamous. Like, I don't know. Listen, I don't have testicles, okay, or penis, but I don't think a man is naturally non-monogamous. I think it's a societal structure. I think, like you said, men are taught to go out and have a whole phase and do this and do that. And I don't think that's fair.
I mean, some guys are monogamous, but those guys get called a simp, yada yada yada. So I just think that being that other men don't want to be called a simp, that's why they tend to hold around a lot, because they don't want to be, you know, picked on for being a simp, so on and so forth. So
But
some
why would he?
about peer pressure.
So then that kind of goes back a little bit to the Russell Wilson conversation. Like, why would he be considered a simp?
He's usually considered a simp because he's not not someone that you'll be naturally attracted to initially until you get to know him. Because I know with women, with some females, they're not gonna like you unless other women like you. So naturally, women are gonna go for the type of guy that other women want, which is a guy that sleeps around. So therefore, Russell Wilson is not really that type of guy that women will go for until they're older.
Hmm.
I stand as one of the women in the delegation who does not want a community king. I never did. That was never my thing. Um, I like to meet these women that you encountered. Like, I didn't know that.
It's not just me though, but ask most men and they will tell you the same thing. Women want a man that has options. So therefore, if other women don't find you attractive, chances are you're not gonna want him either.
I heard that before too, though. I did hear that. That if nobody wants you, then they don't normally. It's kind of like when you get a relationship, and then and next thing you know, everybody's trying to hit on you, and you like, when I was single with nobody wanted me. Now I got somebody, and everybody looking in my face, type of thing.
Miss Creative is funny. Uh,
UDP, they love you.
I just, and see, I'm just probably not the person to qualify to be up here about this lead conversation. Because for me, if a man, and we could take this back to a church, if you know your pastor does not have the restraint to keep his thing to himself and to his wife, why would you want him to be pastoring over you? What can he lead you to do? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that with these men being automatically pushed into leadership. If he doesn't have the discipline and the restraint to govern himself, how he going to govern the rest of his family, his wife, his children? You know what I mean? Like, no. That's why I don't believe in that automatically the man is the lead and he lead girl lead you where? To the broke house, the poor house, the clinic, to jail because he didn't went and he couldn't keep his penis inside the house, and so now you got multiple kids, outside children. Like, absolutely not. Like, there needs to be more. accountability and responsibility and onus put back on men that if you want to be a leader, then you need to first be able to govern yourself accordingly before you can try to govern anybody else.
I agree. I agree. It's just when it comes to just cheating, I think that people just give into the flesh, one, the ego, the I still got it. I can still put, especially when it comes to married men, I think, or married people in general, I think they like to know that they can still do it. Because they haven't, or they haven't done it in a while, especially when it comes to like cheating. If they haven't, if they've been faithful for a while, and then it's like, I wonder if I still got the juice, and then they, try to hit on somebody and they still realize they got the juice. It's like for me as a woman, right? If I go out to the club, like sometimes I go out to the bar. If a man don't hit on me, I'm gonna be like, what's wrong? Somebody need to hit on me. You know what I mean? So I think when it comes for men, they get to this point where it's like, I just need to see if I can still do it, type of thing.
Oh, so they want to be desired, basically. I mean, I guess we all kind of want to be desired, but leave it at that. Like,
I don't think they know how.
that's what I'm saying. They don't have no self control. But I guess if your counterparts in the society is telling you to be a hoe,
Yes, sometimes it's the counterpart though. Sometimes.
It's who you with, right? If you with the
Yeah,
right
yeah.
people, I know because I've had some friends that be like, "Girl, go ahead and do it," and you be like, "No, what's wrong with you, girl?"
yeah, don't put me in your wholeness. I don't want no parts of it. No. If you going down, if you want to step outside your marriage or your relationship, please do it alone. I like plausible deniability. And that is your right to do whatever you want to do, but you and you alone will be responsible for the backlash. I don't. Mm-mm.
But I'm sure there are a lot of men and women who are in those predicaments where they tell their friends and their friends like, "It's I won't tell nobody, okay," or I'll use them as a cover up and all that other stuff. So it makes it easier to get away with, easier to do, and then when the backlash hit, now it's, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. It was an accident. I love my family." Yeah.
Yeah, but men cheat for different reasons though. It's not always like, just a one reason.
You said what, like different than women? Is that what you mean?
No, men cheat for different reasons. I don't know if it's the same reason why women cheat, but men cheat for different reasons.
So why men cheat?
Because it's out there, number one. Um, yeah, so therefore, if you see a pretty woman and you like her, you just do your thing. Number two is, as I just mentioned, he has so many options. So therefore, if I know that other women also find me attractive, I'm going to take advantage of those options.
But isn't that an issue?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It sounds like, like that's the thing. Like, what's the issue with just not taking advantage of those options? Like, what drives them to get it? What is it? The thrill, the adrenaline rush? Like, what is it that makes it like, I have options, I need to take them? It's like before Kevin Samuels died, he had Alive, right?
Yeah.
He said to the lady, he said, if you want a high value man, because he only deal with high value men who make a certain amount of money. If you want a high value man, you have to be willing to share him because he's going to have options. It's like the logic of that doesn't make sense. It's like you can have options and choose not to have to entertain those options.
I agree 100. I just it goes back to just making it seem like men don't have the ability to regulate themselves. And when we say men, we're not talking about everybody. There's always exceptions to a rule. It's just a general conversation. But it just in that example, it just makes it seem like, oh, I saw a big booty, it looked good, and I wanted a piece, so I'm just gonna go get it. Like I'm just moved by everything that goes past me. If I see big boobs, then and I'm a boob man, I need to go sample them boobs. Like, then why be with anybody? Why don't you just be untethered to anyone? Don't be in a marriage, don't be in a relationship. And if you want to be moved by everything that walk past you and you want the ability to go sample it, then just do that unattached.
Good point, but a lot of people don't do it. That's why it's cheating.
Right.
I think honestly, I think that it comes from a part of comfortability. I think when people are in relationships and things like that, they get comfortable. They like the lifestyle that they have. Everything's put together, but they still want to experience certain things on the outside that they don't that they missing. So sometimes if it's sexual, they could be getting all the sex that they want from their wife, but it's like, oh, maybe I just want to slip up in something different. I want to do something new, or blah, 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 blah. I think it's just like, I really don't know what it is, to be honest with you, but I just don't understand. And I don't think it's meant for us to understand as women either, because it's like, we know how easy it is to not cheat. Like, I don't understand why men feel like women don't have those urges to have sex with other people too. We make it seem like women are just these dried up, like we don't have sex drives and urges when we do. Like, you don't think that someone will want to have sex with someone else too? If I can restrain, you should be able to. If every time I see a handsome man, I decide that I'm gonna go sit on it, does that make it right? Because I felt, like, oh, so if we can restrain, so can men. But I think men feel like, because it's been a thing where it's just a man thing, it's just a man thing, it became acceptable to women, and then women go, well, I'm fine as long as I don't know about it, or I'm gonna be polygamy, I'm gonna be polyamorous, because that's what he gonna do it anyway. We start making excuses for it, and then it becomes okay. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think
no,
we
I
start
agree.
making excuses for it instead of holding them more accountable. And now it's just where it's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to conform to be this type of woman, so I don't have to deal with the heartache. I don't have to deal with the pain. I don't have to deal with the worry and the stress. I'd rather you do what you want to do and just be upfront and honest with me, and blah 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 blah. And now that's the thing. That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's terrible. And I wish more of us would, just don't you don't have to accept it. It's okay to walk away from something, and especially somebody who is disrespecting you. 'Cause I had a conversation with a guy talking about is levels to it. I was like, there's no levels. That's just disrespectful across the board. Like, cheating is disrespectful. I don't care. Is this, you wouldn't do it in front of your partner or your spouse? So I mean, come on, you're doing something behind their back. If they're not in agreement with you going out and seeing other people, then it's cheating, period, and it's disrespectful.
That's
But
true.
guys will try to rationalize it like, nah.
But I think that's also the problem that men are having now with women becoming sexually liberated and things like that. They don't know how to handle it, because now women are like, man, F you. I could do the same thing. Like, we on the same playing field. It's not, you thought you had one, like you thought I was feeling you. Like, that's how it is now. And men are getting scared because now they want to jump on their laptops and they use microphones and want to bring down a woman, because now we like, I'm not dealing with that, and I'm not settling for that. If you want to be a hoe, I could be a hoe too. If it's okay for you to be a hoe, it's okay for me to be a hoe. If it's okay for you to date, it's okay for me to date. That's how the newer generations are coming up, because they realize that it doesn't matter what you do. He gonna do what he want to do regardless.
Right. So make sure you're happy. You know what I mean?
And it's unfortunate, because I honestly feel like it's bringing down our black love and community and our families and stuff like that, because there's no structure anymore. Instead of men straightening it up, women turned into men.
Then the men need to tighten up, tighten
That's
up.
like,
Tighten up the community. Y'all want to be the leaders. You said you're the leaders. You're leaders of the community. So if there's some disarray, then it starts at the top.
I'm not saying that it's right though, but I'm just saying what it is.
Yeah. You talking about like why men do it?
Yeah, and plus also another reason is because maybe he's not being appreciated by his partner, and that other woman is giving him more appreciation. So let's say that you're cooking, cleaning, sleeping with your man, but your man is barely working, doesn't clean up after the house, but you meet a guy at your job who is doing everything that you want a man to do. Naturally, you might find that man more attractive than your own husband.
I feel
How would I know that he has all those qualities unless I'm entertaining them?
mm,
Y'all work together. Y'all do talk at work, right?
People lie. They hype up. They gas up. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can make the grass seem like it's greener on the other side. It's still your decision.
But it still happens though. But it still happens though.
That's because people chose to indulge.
yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's never an excuse, right? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what someone is or isn't doing. If they're not doing for you and they're not fulfilling you, then you need to go ahead and get a divorce. You need to go ahead and you need to, either go to counseling, you need to go ahead, call it quits, and then go about your life and go find something better. But I think it's cowardly to cause that much pain and hurt to someone um because you're not being fulfilled when you can go about it the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like have those conversations, try to work through it. Sometimes I think when it comes to cheating as well, you start to put all that energy that you should have been investing into your spouse, you start to put that into someone else. So instead of trying to, you know, like pour the gas back into your marriage so that the car can run, you decide to go pour it in somebody else's car and your car is now broken down. You know what I mean? It's like instead of taking all that energy that you now invested in someone else, why not take that same energy and invest it back into your wife? So if you texting someone, you could be texting your spouse. Why text that person? You can re-spark something in these relationships that sometimes we feel is dead. Like when people say, oh, the chemistry is gone, there's no romance. So that's why I did it. But why not try to build that romance back up with your spouse? Why not try to build that chemistry back up with your spouse instead of going to find somebody else to give that energy to? That's why I feel like at the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do and you're going to make that decision. And it's selfish. Because if you feel unfulfilled, I'm sure that the other person feels unfulfilled as well.
But do you also feel like people grow out of love? People grow apart from each other?
I do feel like people, I won't say grow out of love. I feel like people do grow apart, but if it's something that you're committed to, I think the love, that's why marriage, I should say, or even relationships, depending on how you take it, is a choice. Because you have to choose every day to make that decision to be faithful, to be loyal, to work on it, to love this person through not liking them, to love this person through their flaws. Like it's a choice. This is why it's like, yeah, but once you make that commitment, you are now held accountable. So I can like grow apart from me and my husband could be growing apart and that's fine, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna go cheat on him. Maybe we just realize, oh, this is not gonna work, so we need to separate. Okay, cool. Why add more injury? Why add more to it? Because now instead of just parting ways and on good terms, knowing that this just wasn't the best for both of us, now there's so much animosity. Now there's so much tension. Now there's hate, resentment, and now it's I'm throwing this back in your face from the time I took you back from this and the time I was holding you down when you wasn't working and all this other stuff. Now all those things come back into play instead of just being upfront and honest. Like something's not clicking, and if I feel it, I know you feel it. What do we do from here? Instead, they go and say, "Oh, I wasn't getting, we just was growing apart, so I decided to cheat." And now in a marriage, or whatever, now it's all these different feelings coming up as opposed to y'all just being adults about it.
Yep, I agree. It should be more conversations had, but it's giving coward. It's easier to take the cowardly way out and just, leave a path of destruction.
That's why so many marriages, especially when they come in with cheating and stuff, they end horribly. They fighting for everything, the resentment. They hate each other. They can't be around a kid. Like they don't even know how to function with the kids and stuff like that because there's so many different things. When we could have just been adults and realized that this wasn't it. But normally, whoever's the beginning cheated on really thought that they can work this out and make it work, but the person was out here doing them. So now they have no choice but to let it go as opposed to trying to figure it out and make it work, you know?
Yep.
Okay, ladies, let me turn things on you. Why do you think women cheat?
For different reasons, just like men.
Yeah. I mean, they can cheat because they want to have sex. They just want to have more sex. They're not sexually fulfilled. Women cheat because they're not being emotionally met. Their needs not being emotionally met, or they don't feel wanted. The same reason why men would cheat. If you don't feel like you're being appreciated, if you don't feel like someone's taking you for granted, they don't, or they're not. You don't feel like they're giving you that affection. Those are reasons why a woman would cheat. I mean, most women cheat more emotionally than men. I think men cheat just because they want to have sex. Women, I think, sometimes cheat because they're trying to fill the void that they're not getting at home.
Okay, then why can't women tell their men those things as well?
Oh, I think they should. I think they really should. The question isn't about the actual cheating. The question isn't about whether it's the man or the woman. It's about the act before the cheating. Like, are we having those discussions so that this doesn't become an issue instead of just taking a coward way out and just cheating? So in this instance, it's not necessarily about a man or a woman. It's about the union and whoever's doing wrong. you know. So let's just do this. I think when men and women have conversations, we focus too much on it's the man, it's the woman. And we focus more on the character of the person itself and everything that happened in it and call right and wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. My husband was coming through the door. I think that what's happening between men and women, that we're getting lost in translation because we're trying to prove one is better than the other, or it's all men fault, it's all women fault. If we just look at it as being characters and human beings and what this person contributes to this situation and what this person could contribute to this situation, then we'll have a better understanding. So instead of just saying, I'm gonna flip it back on you, so why do women cheat? No, it's not about why men cheat. It's about cheating, period. Why are we cheating?
Bingo.
Because it doesn't make it right for me to cheat as a woman, and it don't make it right for you to cheat as a man.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what's been happening with, especially in the Black community, between um, content creators in quotation marks, where everyone's talking about, oh, it's the man, the man's the man, oh, it's the woman, it's the woman, it's the woman, and it's like, no, it's just the person. It's the person at this point. It's you. It's your character. It's what you believe. It's how you feel. Because just because you feel that way doesn't mean every man feels that way. And just because a woman feels that way doesn't mean every woman feels that way. So I think when we start really sitting down and looking at the character of person and stop making this about a gender war, we'll be better off as a community and we'll be able to coexist better. Because I've been listening, and it feels like we're training our guys to think that women are this, and we're training our women or girls to think that men are this, and it's giving us no hope for families. If you think about it in the longer run, because you're gonna have so many women turning against men and so many men turning against women. Well, we are better as a collective. So we can just go ahead and just start to fix these character traits that we have embedded in women and men to become better people. Then we'll be a lot more, we'll be better off.
Amen, sister. Do you agree with that, Kirby?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. As I said, I'm not a cheater, so
Curry say I ain't one of them. But I mean, I think that's what it really needs to come down to. I think we need to figure out like just how we can do better as human beings and stop trying to put the blame on one person for one race, or not race, but one gender for being this way and another gender for being this way, because everyone has dealt with someone. A man has been cheated on, a woman has been cheated on, right? But when women cheat, we make excuses for it. Well, maybe she wasn't feeling loved and you wasn't showing her no attention. But when men cheat, it's like he just wanted to have sex with somebody. No, leave him. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter why the act was done. And I noticed that a lot of the times that and it's called a double standard. That's just what it is. The sympathy goes to the woman if she cheats because she didn't feel appreciated. And it's like, why didn't you appreciate her? Why didn't you love her? Why wasn't you there for her? So we got to stop thinking about a woman and man and just think about a character. You cheated, point blank. Period. The reason does not matter.
Yes. Building better characters.
Mm-hmm. So we just got to do better, people. We got to do better.
Right. This is a good conversation, Chloe.
It was. I think we got it. I don't know if we got somewhere, but we got somewhere.
We did. We got further than normally how these discussions go. And I think it was because even though we don't agree with everything that Kirby said, Kirby, I don't know. He seems like a understanding type of person. Like we can agree to disagree and keep it moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's not even about agreeing also, right? Because if a man is telling you how a man sees things from a man's point of view, we can't dispute that as a woman. The same way he can't dispute how we see things from a woman's point of view. It's about learning how to communicate from our points of view to make them come together as one.
Yep.
So that's why you have to set your standards and your boundaries with people so that when you interact with each other, you know what's acceptable, what's accepted, and what's not accepted.
Yep. Pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, Chloe.
Yeah, we getting up off here. We've been up here for what, since 3:00? Yeah, we done been through a whole bunch. We done talked about all types of stuff. I don't even know how we ended on cheating, and he ain't even say he was cheating. So we just up here going in. But I appreciate both of y'all for joining me, and I appreciate everybody in the chat. I'm gonna drop y'all off. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. So I feel like we got somewhere with this conversation. Well, all I'm gonna say is that I hope that both of them find peace and happiness and love. And once again, remember, set your boundaries. Find your self-love. Like Tia said, she said, self-love, setting my boundaries, going into, a different stage of your life and whatever that looks like for you. We have, in this conversation, we have taken back the shame of getting divorced, not being a shameful thing if it's going to make you happy instead of being in miserable marriages. And just to say that you're married, we're taking all that stuff away from it, and we just going to find happiness and joy and love and peace and do what's best for us. And that's just that on that, period. Okay. And I'm jumping up off here because we've been up here for too long. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and all that good stuff. All right, y'all. Bye.